Thanks for joining us. I'm Tamika Alexander. Lynn Brooks and Philip Cloman have the night off. Topping the news tonight, uninsured drivers, listen up. The new year will bring a new insurance verification system to Alabama. Details in tonight's top story. Starting January 1st, law enforcement and tag offices will use the online insurance verification system to confirm whether or not a driver has automobile insurance. As part of the online system, electronic proof of insurance such as an app on your phone will be accepted during traffic stops. The new system is a result of a law passed by the Alabama legislature in 2011, which also requires the owner to retain proof of insurance in the vehicle. First-time offenders without coverage will face a fine of up to $500. Tuscaloosa County License Commissioner Jeff Brown says that the consequences for abusing the new law will also go into effect as well.
If they do not have insurance, then their license plate is suspended, and first suspension it costs $200, second suspension it costs $400. So once it's suspended, they'll have to come in. We'll go through the process of letting them pay the suspension fee, and then we'll reinstate the license plate.
Alabama has more than 4 million registered vehicles. About 25% of those are reportedly uninsured, making it the 6th worst state in the nation for uninsured motorists. Well, now that all the presents have been handed out, some people are making plans to take down their Christmas trees. And if you have a live tree or any live greenery, it can be recycled. The Environmental Service Department is offering Christmas tree recycling through January 13th. Those interested may drop off their live tree or greenery in Bell Foods parking lot. Well, another story today is the chilly weather, but will it stick around for the new year? WVUA's Daniel Sparkman joins us now with a first look at your home team weather. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Tamika. Yeah, it's been very nice.
Thanks, Daniel. It looks like we will have a few nights of freezing temperatures coming up. Here are a few things you don't want to forget when it comes to dealing with the cold. Pay close attention to children and the elderly. They are especially vulnerable to the cold. Make sure to dress in layers and wear a hat that covers your ears. And don't forget about plants. Bring potted plants indoors and keep outdoor plants and trees watered. If possible, bring all pets indoors. Pets that must be left outside should have an enclosed shelter with the entrance facing away from the wind. And finally, take time to prepare and inspect heating equipment before use because it could prevent a house fire. Space heaters and candles should be kept away from curtains and furniture and out of the reach of small children and pets. Charcoal and other fuel-burning devices that produce carbon monoxide should never be used indoors. Also avoid using an extension cord with those space heaters. Well, the Tuscaloosa County Emergency Management officials are monitoring the Black Warrior River for flooding concerns. Today, officials announced the Oliver Lock was set to go into action stage this morning. As of 9:30 a.m., the river was more than 115 feet. Action stage is at 1,220 feet. Flood stage is at 129, according to the Emergency Management Director, David Harden. The Black Warrior River is set to crest just over 123 feet. Authorities say when the river is at 122 feet, cattle and lowlands may be cut off and may need to be moved to higher ground. Well, a large brawl in a California mall sent shoppers running for the door. Lonnie Rivera tells us what shoppers saw and heard when the fight broke out.
A wave of panic came running across the mall as shoppers scurried away from the chaos that began at the food court.
Terrifying. It was the scariest moment I ever had in my life. Police
say it all began when a fist fight got out of control, drawing in at least 20 juveniles.
He swung on one of the dudes, they started fighting, and then all the groups jumped in. They all started fighting.
Gabby Miller says even after police and mall security jumped in, some of the teens kept fighting.
And the police caught maybe 3 of them, and then they all came over here towards the pretzel place and did it a second time.
That's when several people inside the mall heard what they thought were gunshots.
We all heard it because everybody was coming to see the second fight.
Not everyone. Most shoppers were just trying to get away while store employees tried to figure out what was happening and what they were hearing.
Something similar to gunshots. We don't know if there was actually gunshots, but it did sound like shots.
Police now say they've ruled out any gunfire. They believe the sounds of large signs falling over may have led people to report shots fired.
You start thinking the worst thing that can possibly happen. Like, I just imagine someone with, a gun, or just someone coming to the store and threatening us.
We hid behind the jewelry counter at Macy's, and then I was finally like, we need to get out of here. I'm not about to get shot behind a jewelry counter.
I immediately called my mom and just wanted to talk to her, just in case.
Even after it was all over and the mall reopened, it was hard for many to catch their breath.
You just never know what could happen at any time.
The director of mall security says 4 people involved in the brawl were arrested. The start of a new year means a chance at a 15th national championship for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And Alabama's home team will have all the action from Miami covered for you starting Thursday, January 3rd through the weekend. We will have live reports from Miami on Monday, January 7th. Our special BCS programming starts at 4 o'clock. If you're headed to Miami, we'll have useful information for your trip. And if you'll be watching the festivities from home, you'll get the full experience from Alabama's home team.